Hello everyone and welcome back to the another live stream. So guys, today we are diving into a topic that is quietly shaping America's economy, its environment and even your electricity bill. Yes, a brand new report from TechCrunch reveals that the power demand from US data centers is expected to surge by 300% by 2035. This is absolutely massive number and raises a lot of question. Why is this happening? How much is AI responsible? What does it mean for climate change, for local communities, and for national power grids? And most importantly, what can be done to prevent this crisis? Stay with me because by the end of this live stream, you are going to understand the full picture in a way that most people don't even. So, guys, let's start with the what this forecast actually means. A 300% increase is not just a gradual rise. This is seismic shock to US infrastructure. Data centers are already consuming more power than the entire cities. Just one hyperscale data center can use as much electricity as 80,000 homes. And now imagine that number tripling. Power companies, energy analysts, and environmental scientists all are warning that if the US grid does not expand fast enough, we could see higher electricity prices, local energy shortages, and serious pressure on the renewable energy systems. So, guys, what's driving this explosion? The biggest reason is artificial intelligence. Traditional data centers were massive but manageable. But AI doesn't just store and retrieve the data, it constantly computes, learns, generates, analyzes, and predicts on its own. Large language models, image generation models, recommendation systems, autonomous vehicles, and real time surveillance all run on the huge cluster of GPUs. And GPUs are extremely power hungry. Training a single large AI model can consume more energy than the 100 US households use in an entire year. And once the model is trained, the cost doesn't end. Every search, every prompt, every query, every video recommendation requires ongoing compute power. Multiply that by the hundreds of millions of users, and you start to see why the demand is skyrocketing at such a rate. But AI is not the only factor. The growth of the cloud services, streaming platforms, online gaming, medical data, financial transactions, and even the smart home devices contributes to this massive rise. Think about it, every security camera, every IoT device, every smartwatch, and every refrigerator, even every online payment, every SaaS platform sends its data to the data center. You are using a data center right now by watching this stream, even. Now, let's talk about the environmental impact of this rise. Data centers requires both the power and cooling systems are among the biggest energy consumers. Massive quantities of heat are generated by the servers while cooling, and they must be kept at safe temperatures. Many data centers use enormous cooling towers that evaporate millions of gallons of water every day. So this is not only an electricity issue but also water use crisis. In regions like Arizona, Nevada, and Texas, where water scarcity is already severe, data center expansions could make the environmental tensions even worse. And then there are the carbon emissions. If the power to run these data centers comes from fossil fuels, carbon pollution skyrockets. Even though companies claim to be moving towards the renewables, the speed of AI expansion is so fast that renewable energy sources like solar, wind, hydro simply cannot keep up. That means the more natural gas plants and more strain on the grid. Ironically, the technology that promises to improve efficiency in the future might be worsening pollution in the short term. And another major aspect the public barely understands is the local impact. When a data center opens in a small town, it increases the electricity demand instantly. This can raise the power prices for residents and small businesses. Some communities are complaining that they face rolling blackouts during the peak seasons, while the data center next door continues running uninterrupted because that might cause the major outages to the organizations running on those data centers. and the outages mean millions and billions of dollars lost. So, guys, governments often welcome the data centers for tax revenue, but the everyday person ends up paying the cost through the higher bills. So now we come to the big question. Why 300% rise? Why such an extreme forecast? Apart from AI's exponential growth, we are seeing the rise of age computing in autonomous transportation, smart cities, real time language translation, and ultra high resolution streaming. 4K and 8K streaming uses massive power on the backend. Self driving cars alone are expected to generate more data in a single year than all humans have created in the past decade. And then there is a digital economy. Every financial transaction we do, every blockchain operation, every biometric authentication runs through a data center validation. This is digital life, and digital life requires digital infrastructure. So now the next question is this unavoidable? The answer is complicated. Today's generation is AI, and AI's power is definitely growing, but there are solutions. Companies are experimenting with energy efficient chips, liquid cooling, subsea data centers, and renewable microgrids. Microsoft and Google are testing their nuclear powered data centers. Meta is experimenting with AI models that consume less compute power, and some companies are relocating their data centers to the colder regions like Pacific Northwest to reduce cooling needs naturally. But here is also a catch. Innovation is slower than the expansion. AI adoption is growing faster than energy saving technology. Unless the US builds in new power plants, renewable or otherwise, the grid may struggle, and consumers might be the ones paying the price. Now, let's look at the biggest resolution being discussed today. One option is aggressive investment in the renewable energy infrastructure. Another is demand response systems where data centers reduce the usage during peak hours, allowing homes and hospitals to get the priority. There is also a talk of carbon neutral data center designs, so, geothermal cooling and even underwater data centers where ocean temperatures naturally cool servers. And perhaps the most realistic solution is government regulation, setting limits on how much local grids can be burdened by new data centers, requiring renewable commitments and enforcing energy efficiency standards for AI companies. Some experts even argue that AI companies must pay additional fees or taxes to offset the environmental cost. Others believe AI developers should redesign their models to be smaller, more efficient, and less resource intensive. In fact, the next wave of AI might not be about making models bigger, but making them smarter while using less power. So, guys, to sum it all up, the US is heading towards a massive energy shift. Data center power demand rising nearly 300% in 2035 is a tech headline. It's a natural infrastructure challenge, an environmental challenge, and economic challenge. AI is transforming industries, but it's also transforming the power grid in the way the average person cannot see. Whether this becomes a crisis or a breakthrough depends on how quickly America invests in the renewable energy sources, grid expansion, and efficient AI systems. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this still and of the entire breakdown. If you found this stream informative, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will be covering more of this, the out of the radar stories that affect our future. So stay safe, stay informed, and I will see you guys in the next live stream. And most importantly, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you seeing the rise in your electricity bills, or what do you think this massive rise may lead to the environment? And I will love to hear from you and reply to your comments, questions, and queries. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.